few thousand subscribers on Substack is worth more than 1 million followers on other platforms. Not only that, but Substack is having its early YouTube moment. The platform is exploding, but this window won't last forever. The creators making 6 figures on Substack aren't even the best writers. They just started early and they figured out their growth system. By the end of this video, you will have a growth system too. So buckle up, take notes, like the video, share it, comment, do all the things, because I did a lot of research for this video, so your engagement will make it all worth it. So, everyone and their dog has a Substack. I mean, my dog doesn't have a Substack, but you know, maybe one day. If you're new to the world of Substack, or maybe if you're an early adopter of the platform, you might be asking yourself why. Why is everyone talking about Substack? Well, whilst a lot of social media platforms have been experiencing a massive dip in their reach, engagement, etc., Substack has been quietly building the next wave of creators and entrepreneurs.
Over 16,000 subscribers, 300 paid subscribers, $2,500 a month.
They're not just surviving on this platform, they are thriving. In fact, there are now over 5 million paid subscriptions on Substack because yes, you can make an income directly from the platform. And in 2026, they developed a recommendation feature, which is now responsible for over 40% of traffic on the site. What that basically means is that they've released a feature which makes it easier for people to grow on the platform. Think like TikTok circa 2020, you know, the heyday of the algorithm. That is what's currently happening over on Substack. But why does this matter? Well, whilst it's easier to grow an audience on a platform, which I'm sure every creator loves to hear, it can also unlock a new revenue stream for you. Creators on Substack charge monthly fees for premium content. Mid-tier creators typically earn between $2,000 and $10,000 per month through their Substack. Not only that, but creators keep roughly 86% of that revenue to themselves. So Substack take 10%, and then you also have to account for things like payment fees. And if those figures didn't surprise you, then just buckle up, because in 2025, the top 10 creators on Substack earned over $40 million. Collectively, sure, but still. All that to say, there's money to be made. But the thing is, for most people, growing on Substack feels like this elusive thing because the platform is still in its infancy. No one's really talking about growth strategies, and it feels like those who are succeeding are just doing it out of luck. I'm here to tell you that it's not all luck. There is, in fact, a strategy to this. I've interviewed some major Substack players, and I've done countless hours of research to pull together a video that will provide the ultimate growth guide to Substack. I'm talking about this video, by the way, in case that wasn't clear. But before we get there, we need to talk about what Substack actually is and the role it plays in the current social media landscape. For years, we've been growing our audiences on rented land. We've become used to the middleman, which is basically the algorithm that sits between us and our audience.
Instagram or TikTok, where the power mostly goes to Mark Zuckerberg.
Platforms like Instagram and TikTok, which are literally centered around their algorithms, whilst they're great for discovery, they do come with a level of instability. Algorithms can change overnight and your reach can completely fall off the cliff within the space of 24 hours. We've all been there. Now, Substack is the response to that. It's not about replacing your existing social media, it's about adding to it in a way that feels fresh and in a way that hopefully generates you some income. At its core, it's a platform that allows you to send digital newsletters directly to your audience's inbox. It's kind of like a social media version of an email list. In recent years, it's evolved into this hybrid of a platform. So it's like part blog, part newsletter, part podcast hosting platform, part Facebook style updates. It's a bit of everything. But the fundamental difference between Substack and other platforms remains the same. On Substack, you are able to own your audience. I have to do this because saying to someone that you own people just doesn't sit right with me. But you know what I mean. On most platforms, you're building a list of followers that only exist on that platform. On Substack, you're building an email list, and this list you technically own. If your Instagram or your TikTok disappeared tomorrow, you'd be pretty much screwed. But if your Substack disappeared and you had access to your email list, you could take that list, move it elsewhere, and still be able to contact your audience. But the real reason why there's so much momentum behind Substack right now isn't just about security, it's about the depth of the relationship that you can build with your audience on that platform. On most social media platforms, you're fighting for a 3-second view, but on Substack, you're building for long-form connection. Think of it this way. In a world full of infinite scrolling, Substack is where people want to go when they really want to lean in, when they want to get depth, when they really want to connect, right? Which provides an incredible opportunity for creators like you and I. So how do we seize this opportunity? Let me show you. Now, the thing you need to know about Substack is that there's lots of different content and format types that you can share on that platform. The main ones you need to be aware of are newsletters and articles, notes, videos, and podcasts. Might sound simple, but it doesn't stop there. In order for you to really grow on Substack, you need to understand how to use those features together. And the best way to do that is to stop thinking of those features separately and start to look at them in a funnel. Top of the funnel is notes. Think of notes as a version of your Twitter feed. They're short form posts which are designed to help you reach more people. The The algorithm which powers the notes feature on Substack is literally trying to push it out to as many new people as possible. That's why notes are at the top of the funnel, because it's the best at casting a wide net. In fact, for the average creator, your notes will be responsible for 40% of your growth. So think of this as a teaser for your Substack channel. It's your opportunity to get your opinions, your thoughts, your vibes out there without having to draft a whole article in order to lure people in. Now, the reason why I want you to think about each of these features in a funnel is because these features are good at different things. We've established that notes is at the top of the funnel. It's great at helping you with discovery. As we move down that funnel, we start to look at features that are good at other things. For example, videos and podcasts. This part of the funnel is less about casting a wide net and trying to reach as many people as possible. And it's more about nurturing the people who you've already reached. So those new people who found you from your notes, they will move down the funnel and start to discover more of your content through your videos and your podcasts. The long form nature of these features allows you to really build intimacy with your audience, right? So this is how you turn someone who just discovered you to almost considering wanting to describe with you. That's why we call this level of the funnel the consideration level. As we move further down this funnel, we start to look for features that are good at helping people build trust with us, because the notes help them find us, the videos and the podcast recordings help them get to know us, and now our long form written posts are going to build trust with our audience. Now, long form writing in the form of newsletters or articles, that really is the bread and butter of Substack, so much so that this is often the thing that gets people to actually want to spend money to get your content. Like, this is the part of Substack that feels incredibly valuable and premium. Which brings me to the bottom of the funnel. Now, this part of the funnel is all about community and monetization, also known as getting that money. The main feature that really thrives at the bottom of the funnel is the chat feature. The chat feature allows your audience to message you and you to respond. It's perfect for people who are like super fans of your content. So your notes are there to help you get discovered by your audience. Your videos and your podcasts are there to help your audience get to know you a little bit better. Your long form writing helps you build trust with your audience. And then your chats are there to help people convert and actually pay you money per month to get access to your content. So now that we have a growth system, we need to nail the content. And I'll be the first to admit that I don't actually have a Substack. I know. But bear with me, because not only have I done a lot of research in this subject, but I've also interviewed people who are thriving on the platform and I've asked them exactly how they have grown. So let's hear what they have to say. Let's introduce our two experts. Mia McGrath, the founder of Frugal Chic. Do you know what's really embarrassing? I had to Google and remind myself how to pronounce chic because I was saying chic. Why did I tell you that? It's actually so embarrassing. Anyway, and Morgan Vogel, the founder of Gatekept. Links to both of their Substacks are in my description. I really recommend that you check them out because both are incredible. Also, a huge shout out to both of these women for agreeing to be featured in my video. Myself, and I'm sure my audience, thank you. Now, both of these Substack titans started exactly where you are, but their paths were a bit different. Mia's journey was more of a slow burn. She posted every single week for 3 months before she hit her first 1,000 subscribers. Morgan, on the other hand, launched Gatekept in October and hit her first 1,000 subscribers by November. By the end of 2025, she had 32,000 subscribers. Now, both of these women now have subscriber counts well within the tens of thousands. So I want you to remember that their journeys were slightly different when they started out the next time you're second guessing your own Substack journey. Now, after analyzing the interview answers that both creators gave me, I have established 3 core growth strategies that I want to share with you. Strategy 1, the editorial point of view versus the generic niche. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to descend into a video about whether we should be niching or not. It's not. However, this is an important conversation we need to have when it comes to Substack. Most people approach Substack thinking that they need to find a profitable niche, for example, finance or something like that. But according to these incredible creators, that is one of the fastest ways for you to become completely irrelevant. In 2026, niches are commodities. Anyone can use AI to summarize the news on a specific topic. What's really going to get you ahead on Substack is establishing an editorial point of view. Think of it this way, a niche is what you write about. An editorial point of view is like the hill you are willing to die on. Let's take Morgan's Substack, for example. She isn't just writing about fashion. She has a specific lens on culture and fashion that her audience massively trusts. Morgan says that you should choose a specific lane and figure out what you have to say that adds true value. So how do you actually do that? Let's break down a few steps. Step 1, identify the common enemy. This is potentially my favorite step, which probably says quite a lot about me. Think about what the default advice is in your industry or in your niche that you think is just wrong, fundamentally wrong. For example, maybe you're an entrepreneur who hates hustle culture. leader. You got it? Great, write it down. Now put that to the side for step 2. This is all about defining the transformation. Your readers don't want information, they want an identity. For example, they don't want to just learn how to cook. They want to become the person who hosts the most insane dinner parties. That's front of mind because that is so the person I will become this summer, right? Do you see the power in tying that to an identity? Good? Great. Write that down too. The third thing you want to do to really stand out is to create your own signature vocabulary. This basically means that you want to give names to your ideas. If you have been watching my content for a while, you know that I do this by default. I love to give snappy names to things because it scratches a part of my brain. But when you use these on your Substack page, you basically create an inner circle because people understand what you're talking about. It's like when I tell you guys to put your marketing hats on. I'm hoping some of you know what I mean when I say that. It's because I'm about to dive into a marketing theory and it's become our little thing, my little inner circle thing, or at least I hope it has. Can you tell me in the comments if you feel like you're part of my inner circle because I use that phrase? I'm now worried that no one listens when I say it. So if you combine those 3 things, you'll be able to create a Substack with a true editorial point of view. This is the difference between a post which is 5 tips to achieve X, and instead sharing a post which is why everyone does X and why that's keeping you stuck. Can you hear the impact in that? It's the difference between being a generic writer on Substack and being a leader. Strategy 2, cross-platform funnels. Morgan was super intentional about pushing her Substack across her other platforms. In her own words, she made a ton of promotional videos on what she calls her hero content. Basically, the main attraction to her Substack channel. Oh my God, can you hear that? It's actually my dog losing her mind. Excuse me, quiet. We are filming. Wish I could show you her, but the camera's too heavy. All right, come on, you can sit on my lap. Now, Mia took that one step further by importing 10,000 subscribers from her other platforms like Gumroad and Stan Store. She also uses Instagram automations. So when people comment a keyword like newsletter, they will automatically be sent a link to her Substack in her DMs. Now, this is one of my favorite strategies of all time. And if you don't know how you can set automations up for your own Instagram account, you can do so by using software like ManyChat. I will include a link in my description. So what are some very specific steps that you can follow in order to leverage this same strategy? Well, first of all, you want to create a Substack lead magnet. This is basically a piece of content that you've shared on your Substack channel, ideally long form. So either a long form newsletter or an article or a podcast episode or a video, something of that nature that has true value to your audience. Of course, keeping in mind the previous strategy about developing an editorial point of view. Once you've done that, you want to create a 30-second video which focuses on the problem that high value post on your Substack solves for your audience. Ideally, you want it to be a 30-second video because short form videos tend to perform best on pretty much any platform that you're on. Next, you want to use a tool like ManyChat to set up an automation so that when people comment a specific word under that video, they get sent a link to your Substack. Now, I know you can only do this on Instagram at the moment, but you can manually do it on other platforms. Because yes, I've actually done that before where I've sent links manually to people on TikTok when they've engaged with a piece of content. Yes, it takes forever, but it really, really works. Third and final strategy, the network effect. Substack readers are constantly looking for new content to read and new creators to subscribe to. The best way to get discovered by them is to stop relying on just the algorithm and to start writing to get quoted. Mia does an exceptional job at this. She optimized her posts to be quotable, which basically means that she isn't just writing a paragraph of text, she's writing punchlines. She says that when you write a line that perfectly summarizes a feeling or a problem, your readers will extract that quote and post it to their notes or their Instagram and cite you in it. This is literally free marketing. It turns every single one of your subscribers into a potential ambassador for your Substack channel. Another version of this is the mention loop. Both Mia and Morgan have noted that some of their biggest growth spikes haven't come from going viral on TikTok or one of those platforms. They've actually come from other creators mentioning them on Substack. When another creator mentions you in their own newsletter or their own content, they're basically transferring the trust that they've built with their audience onto you. It massively increases the chances of people wanting to subscribe and to pay for your premium content. Follow these steps to utilize this strategy. Step 1, use Substack's recommendation feature. Find 3 to 5 creators who you genuinely love and recommend them to your audience. They'll get a notification, they'll see your name, and they might even check out your work. Now, step number 2 takes that one step further. You can write a post that's analyzing or praising another creator's piece of content, and don't forget to tag them in it. Now, if this is a super high quality post, they may restack it, which means they're essentially going to share it with their audience. And step 3, every single time you go to post a long form piece of writing on Substack, before you do, go through it and identify the most quotable moments. If you're not finding many, you need to add some in. As Mia says, people crave authenticity, but they also love to extract quotes. So if you use those steps, you'll be giving them the tool tools to promote you. And trust me, a lot of them will. So we've covered pretty much everything when it comes to growing on Substack, but you know me, I like to overdeliver. I thought what would be more useful than us condensing everything that we've learned and putting it into a 4-week launch plan for your channel. So this is for anyone who is brand new to starting a Substack, and also for anyone who wants to really grow their Substack in the near future. Follow this plan and see your subscribers increase. Week 1, build your identity and establish your foundations. In this week, I want you to choose your editorial point of view. Don't forget, I broke down the exact steps to allow you to do this earlier on in this video. So if you skipped it, that's on you. I also want you to optimize your Substack profile with a recognizable headshot for your profile photo, a clear SEO friendly name, which basically means if there's any keywords which are related to what your Substack is going to be about, make sure they're either in your Substack name or in your about section. Speaking of your about section, in week 1, I want you to focus on writing some copy that truly reflects what you're trying to achieve with your Substack. Remember to focus heavily on your editorial point of view. Week 2, the seed stage. This is when we're just starting to warm up, we're just starting to get started. If you have subscribers on another platform like Mia did, this is the time where I want you to export them and import them onto your Substack. This is also when I want you to start finding publications that you admire, whether it's due to the subject they're talking about or the writing style, and start to subscribe and engage with them. Also, this is the perfect time in your journey to really start to establish some content pillars. Now, I don't want you to get too strict with these, but I want you to think about your editorial point of view, think about who you're writing for, and I want you to establish at least 3 different pillars or buckets or themes, whatever you want to call them, that you could repeatedly use and comment on and that you want to be known for. Week 3 is the discovery engine. This is where you really want to start ramping up the posting. During this week, I want you to start posting multiple notes, ideally anything from 3 to 7 notes per week. I also want you to start sharing one long form piece of content a week, whether that's an article, a video, or a podcast. In addition to doing all of that, I want you to think about the quotable strategy that we spoke about, right? Every time you post your long form piece of content, I want you to identify a part of it that's quotable. I also want you to start recommending other creators so we can really start to get that growth engine going. Week 4 is all about monetization and scaling. Now, obviously you've not been at it for very long, but I do think this is a really good opportunity for you to take stock of what you've posted so far, how it's performed, and also to decide on a monetization model. The most common way for you to monetize on Substack is by charging a monthly subscription fee. I want you to think about how much you want to charge by looking at what other people within your industry tend to charge. Now, the scale part of this week comes in the form of repurposing. I want you to start getting in the habit of looking at your content that's performed well and repurposing it into other formats. Did you share a note that performed well? Great. Can you turn it into a newsletter? Was there a newsletter that performed well? Great. Can you turn it into a video? Do you see where I'm going with this? And now you have everything you need to conquer Substack. Now, this video took me and my team forever to create. So if you found this useful in any way, please just give it a like or maybe even a comment if you're feeling super generous. And of course, goes without saying, share it with someone else who you think would find it useful. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about a content creation system that you can use to repurpose your content into multiple different high impact posts. Perfect for anyone who is tackling Substack and still has other social media platforms to take care of. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I can't wait to see you in my next video.